Howdy folks. Well, this is a little departure for me. This is a chair made of rosewood. It's Chinese. It's over 200 years old. And the owner and the back had started to come apart. And so the owner asked me if I could glue it back together. So I thought first things first, so my analysis of what's been happening with this poor chair is that it has had a fairly checkered history. Numerous repairs, none of which look like they were done by professionals, shall we say. So the thing has got multiple fractures, breaks that have been repaired probably multiple times as well. So the main reason I found as to why we have all the problems is at some point the chair was repaired, but it wasn't closed down, it wasn't closed together properly, and so there was a very large gap, actually much larger than this, on the back here, which had just been filled. But the net result is the two uprights are too far apart. And so if I try to demonstrate that, so it's actually a lot better now, but if I line up the one on the right, you'll see that on this side there is a good couple of mil difference, which means you have to compress in the two uprights in order for everything to line up. The result is everything here on the back has been under fairly intense. I mean, it was actually much worse. Just to give you an idea, it was more like that. Let's see, it was more like this when I first got it. So everything was under a lot of lateral tensile stress, and of course that's what's caused all the breaks. So the grain on this cross piece here, it runs like that, so no surprise the grain gave way here under the stress. And it has been fixed in the past. You can see here that somebody made another piece to fill the gap, but that in turn has given way. There is a cross piece that goes across the back here, like this, and guess what? That gave way under the tensile stress as well, and so the grain of this kind of runs like that, and of course it parted here. Now, previous attempts to repair this have involved somebody putting a dowel through from the back here to hold. However, when I look at it, if you look carefully, bear with me, the dowel doesn't come all the way through, so they drilled a hole through one side, into the other side, right here, but the dowel they put through was too short, so it didn't come through and provide any structural integrity at all. And so I just part it again, and to hold the other end of it down, we use a regular wood screw. Makes you kind of cringe, doesn't it? This has also cracked along here, and the crack runs along here, which has been just filled in, and then that crack, you probably can't really see it, but it runs further along here, but the wood hasn't actually parted. What else? Okay, so it obviously ripped off the tenon on this side as well because of the tensile stress, and it's caused some damage. There are two upright pieces which sit in here, and because of the subtle angles here, and obviously this was hand built, obviously, and so there are subtle angles here to these tenons, and at some point in the previous repair, because when I got it, one of these, I can't remember which one, but there's two of these, and one of these had actually been put in the wrong way up, which just added to all the stress and tension everywhere. So, my main goal at this point is to close this gap as close as I can get it so that there is no lateral stress on all of the cross pieces, and then get that structurally sorted out. On the actual seat itself, there's some bad cracks. So here is one here that happened initially, which has reasonably closed, and it is structurally supported from underneath. Here is another one which happened later, and of course all this is happening because this top here is not properly mated with the pieces runners along the side, and so it's free to move up and down, or it's free to move, and so when people sit on it, it was moving, which causes all this sort of trouble. And so underneath here, somebody had just filled it with some rubbery glue, no structural integrity though. So if I flip it over, we can have a look at that. So here we're looking at the underneath of the seat, and you can see here that the one crack, at least there is a structural piece, that may in fact be original, but there's a crack here behind that structural member, and there's the one crack which is reasonably closed, and you can see from above, and this is the new very open one, which somebody just filled. As I said, this is just like rubbery glue, it has no structural value in here at all. So I think the minimum that's going to be needed here is another structural piece running across to support all of that, and then try and close these up and fill them as best I can. But yeah, this, as I say, when you look at how this has been repaired in the past, it does kind of make you shudder, which is a shame really, because it's a lovely piece of furniture. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. There is also evidence that this chair may have been in a fire, because there is evidence of what looks to me like burning. I'll show you that. So this is the other vertical upright, sits in the back here. And if you look around the back, I don't know if you can see this, but there are clear signs of what looked to me like the wood has started to shrink under the effect of intense heat. And so a whole chunk at the top here just sort of flaked off when I got it, so I've just started to re-glue pieces of this, and I'm going with the acetone and tight bond approach. Apologies to the high glue lovers out there, but I'm a fan of the high glue when I'm doing guitar work and lutherie work, where things may need to be dismantled again, but the last thing I want anything here is that it would be, if you like, opened up again. So that's where it is. Interesting project. Yeah, it's going to take a little while. So as I say, I've been removing all of the glue. There were like, I don't know how many versions of glue in here, but there was some of it, and a lot of it was that white rubbery stuff, which was not achieving anything. And so I guess one of the things I have to consider is, do I completely replace this original repair here, or do I keep it as part of the history of the chair? And I'll keep it if I can make sure I find a structural way of pinning this so that there is no structural risk. If not, the engineering thing to do would be to replace this whole piece here, so that we have it done properly. But anyway, there we go, guys. So I'll give an update when I've seen if my strategy to bring the two uprights together and put it all back together is going to work. More to come.